Before you roll your eyes and assume this is simply more royal gossip, let me remind you that it's not about tiaras and tabloids. Have you ever seen someone strive so hard to look like the nice guy that it actually makes them look worse? That's exactly what's happening with Meghan Markle right now. When the cameras are off, this is about who someone truly is. Let's take a look. She is a complete mess and an embarrassment, so how can you not laugh at that? You would cry if you didn't laugh at this, and I promise you that the flight attendants who have interacted with Meghan have some stories that will cause you to reevaluate everything. So, this is what started it all. Suddenly, a TikTok video appeared. In it, a vivacious American Airlines flight attendant extolled the virtues of having Meghan Markle on her flight, and the Queen displayed a handwritten note from Meghan stating that she was lovely, nice, and adored her nails. The video became widely shared. Naturally, it did. It resembled a Hallmark adaptation of Flying with Royalty. But here's the thing. The entire setup of that video, and the reason I say it isn't just because I dislike Meghan, it's also because several airline employees who have actually worked with her called BS as soon as they saw it. It appears that Meghan has a somewhat well-known reputation in the aviation industry. Not only are there a few people complaining, but British Airways employees, American Airlines crews, and even colleagues who worked on her films before her marriage to Harry are all voicing similar concerns. The worst part is that when Harry is there, she flips the script. She is cold, unpleasant, and treats everyone like they are beneath her. A completely new person appears as soon as he is out of earshot. Let me take a moment to back up. After serving Meghan on a lengthy flight to South Africa, a senior British Airways flight attendant approached a journalist without warning because she was appalled by Meghan's charming passenger performance in the press. She claims that Meghan never once glanced at Archie during that flight, didn't provide him food or comfort, or even acknowledged him when he was upset. The nanny and the crew were handling everything. Meghan, meanwhile, sat back as if the child hadn't even been hers. Perhaps she was simply overwhelmed, don't you think? Jet lag from a new mother's foreign trip, however, this wasn't a single awful day. The same employee made it apparent that Meghan was only courteous when Harry was around. He once left as if someone had switched a switch. That is calculated conduct, not nerves. Next is the side of American Airlines. For obvious reasons, some AA crew members who wish to remain nameless stated that she is by far the worst star they have ever interacted with. Even worse than those who yell that the sparkling water isn't cold enough or demand caviar at 30,000 feet. Meghan seems to have a tendency to request upgrades without covering the associated costs. She acts as though she is entitled to first-class service on an economy ticket, and she becomes rude when she doesn't get her way. Indeed, everyone who has genuinely interacted with Meghan was startled when that TikTok video appeared. That flight attendant publicly disregarded every guideline in the airline manual in order to post it, not because she was receiving accolades. Distributing a celebrity's handwritten message mentioning a traveler by name, massive violations such as losing your job due to a breach unless it was faked, of course, and because of this, some are beginning to think that Meghan planned the entire incident as a public relations ploy to tidy up her unkempt image. Because the reality is that it doesn't appear to be as polished behind the scenes. You can see someone's true personality, not the red carpet version, in the way they treat those they believe are incapable of responding. Additionally, Meghan has created a perfectly manicured image that makes you believe she is wearing a filter. However, when you speak with those who have collaborated with her, particularly prior to her being famous, the fissures appear and they're not very nice. Before she married Harry, a former crew member from a low-budget movie she worked on told a story that still leaves some in the business scratching their heads. Meghan was already acting like the lead in a Marvel movie during her Suits days. This was a modest production with a tight budget and a small staff working to finish the task, but Meghan made things miserable for everyone. She declined to accompany the rest of the team on their trip. She insisted on booking business class tickets on airlines that didn't even provide them, and when she was told no, she didn't just take it, she lost it. She allegedly ordered a private aircraft for a 2-hour flight on a movie at one point, with food that barely extended to bottled water. To make matters worse, it wasn't an isolated incident. The same thing was said by other persons. Her arrogance, her attitude, and the way she brushed off those who didn't fit her role even though she wasn't yet a member of the royal family, you could already sense her vitality. It seems like she decided that fundamental decency was beneath her as soon as she experienced some spotlight. Just think of what will happen when that focus intensifies. Because Meghan didn't suddenly become more modest after marrying into a royal family, she intensified her efforts. Tales began to circulate among the palace employees. First, there were quiet ones, people quitting their jobs, others refusing to collaborate with her, and of course, there were always justifications. She's under pressure and misunderstood, but in the background, the same narrative kept coming up. Depending on who is observing, bullying power games can exhibit two-faced behavior. The situation was equally complex back in the US. The staff at American Airlines quickly pointed out that Meghan never adhered to conventional procedure. She genuinely expected to be treated like royalty. She requested special treatment even while she wasn't purchasing premium tickets for the commercial flight. Not asked for or required. Just frigid steps and cut instructions, with little warmth or eye contact. The employees would leave her area in a tense, physical state. At 40,000 feet, one of them even compared it to walking on eggshells. At that point, things became heated because there is a limit to how much people can tolerate before the truth comes out. Although airline employees are subject to stringent contracts and non-disclosure agreements, the final straw was that sugar-coated TikTok video that made Meghan appear to be a saint in heaven. At that point, they began to gently and discreetly reach out and present the opposing viewpoint, in which Meghan treated people with open contempt rather than just acting entitled. When others claim that this is just rumors or another assault on Meghan, one crew member even claimed that she made us feel invisible, as if we weren't even human.